If you are not new to my channel, you will know that I think good quality watercolor paper is the most important part of your watercolor practice. In fact, "You are worth the good paper" has kind of become my unofficial slogan on this channel, thanks to you. I love that you love that. And now let's talk about paint, because that's really the next step. And I have so much paint and different palettes that I use, but in today's video, I wanted to show you my 6 most used, most beloved paint palettes, the type of paints that are in them, when I use them, why I use them, and how I use them. First of all, I am not known for having the cleanest palettes, so today you get to see them in their full, chaotic, real glory. And I will be categorizing each of the 6 palettes into either ceramic desk palettes or travel palettes that are easy to move. I take them when I teach classes or when I'm doing my own plein air work. We're going to talk about my desk palettes first. Both of my desk palettes are made from ceramic. They are easily breakable. They're definitely more fancy, and so they stay on my desk. I don't move them. I don't take them anywhere. I always keep them in reach on my desk. This ceramic palette is handmade from Pottery by Eleni. I will have all of her links in the description, but it is a beautiful piece of work. And it's also, as you can see, a very limited palette. So I have cad yellow, magenta, cerulean, indigo, and sap green. And from those 5 colors, I can mix pretty much anything. I also really love using this palette for YouTube tutorials because it fits on the screen really easily. And I love keeping my tutorials simple with easy colors. And this is an example of 2 tutorials I've done recently with this palette. A lot of my floral tutorials are with this palette. I think it makes everything easier for the audience too when I can keep the colors limited. My other desk palette is also a piece from Pottery by Eleni, and this is actually a piece we collaborated on together because I love her work and I had the idea for a split primary palette because I have really become in love with the warm primaries and cool primaries and mixing them together. So on this palette we have cad yellow and lemon yellow, we have cad red and magenta, ultramarine blue and cerulean, and then 2 extras on the end. On the left I have sap green and on the right I have indigo. And being able to use all of these beautiful colors together has really enhanced my color mixing in a limited way. You can also get a little gold name or phrase on your palette as well. And the colors that I'm using in this palette are Letter Sparrow, and her paints are absolutely incredible. My favorite paints for sure. But the beautiful thing about getting an empty palette like this is you can put whatever paints you love in it. I'm just particularly fond of this split primary design with warm primaries and cool primaries. Those were my desk palettes, and now I have 4 travel palettes I want to share with you that I love and use equally, if you can believe it. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Daler-Rowney 48 pan set. I love this set. Obviously, I love color mixing, and sometimes if I don't want to color mix, this is the palette that I grab. I love that the middle sections come out. I love that the paint pans come out and you can read what the paint name is on the side. And I love that there is so much space to mix. I love that it's easily portable, and I use this a lot when I am doing a class, especially if the members of the class are not as into color mixing as I am, and I can grab some of the more convenience colors to paint with that a lot of the students in my classes tend to have or gravitate toward. So I really, really love the quality of the Daler-Rowney paints, and I love the ability to have 48 colors at your fingertips, and it's very easy to clean. You can tell mine's a little messy. Just wanted to show you. Easy to clean, easy to travel with. Love that palette. The next palette is my Letter Sparrow palette. It is tiny, but it is mighty. I have this little magnetic clip that goes on it, and I take it with me when I'm doing plein air paintings. I took it with me to France. This is one of the books I brought with me and one of the paintings I did. It clips onto any notebook. The magnet is super strong. I love the split primary palette in a small and very convenient little compact size. I Again, I'm obsessed with Letter Sparrow paints. This is a paint palette that we collaborated on together. One of my absolute favorites. I always have this palette with me. This is also the palette that I use for all of my 100 tiny paintings that I've done over on Patreon. This is just a snippet of what we've got up to this year. It is a mighty palette, like I said before. Definitely one of my favorites. And sometimes things in small packages can seem insignificant, but because it's a split primary, which I'm in love with right now, and the paints are such good quality, it is one of my absolute favorite palettes. This is a vintage case palette that I found from a seller on Etsy, and one of my favorite parts about this palette is it is customizable. I was able to pick the size of the wells, how many I had, and since I love split primary, I kept it very minimal and had two of the bigger wells for mixing, a cool mixing area and a warm mixing area. I also really love this palette because I can use my Letter Sparrow paints that I have in my tube. I can use Winsor and Newton, Daniel Smith. Any watercolors that you want, you can use in this palette. I also like that because this palette is so small and it's metal, it also works with magnet clips that you can magnetize and clip to your notebooks. It's a strong magnet, so it doesn't fall off. It's very convenient for plein air painting. The only issue I seem to have is that since the mixing areas are metal, it is really hard to tell what color it is you're mixing. So I might paint some kind of sealed white latex or something so that it's easier to see what color I'm mixing and as I'm mixing it. But again, I love taking this one for very limited split primary plein air paintings. The last palette is certainly not least. It is my Winsor and Newton half pan travel palette. I really, really love this palette. The quality is incredible. There are lots of different paint color options, but not too many paint colors, so I still find myself color mixing, which I love. It's a little bit more than my typical split primaries, which can be nice in different situations. For example, next year I am coming out with my next book, and I use the paints from this set in the book to have a little bit more variety versus color mixing exclusively. I also use this palette in the studio when I taught my retreats in France, so we had a few more color options that were available to everybody versus exclusively color mixing. I would say one of the only downsides to this palette is that it is over $100, but this is a professional upgraded palette, one that you would get if you were very, very serious about watercolor and you needed it for your own paintings, you're going to sell your paintings, or you wanted a very nice upgrade to your plein air work. Because I use all 6 of these palettes as a professional watercolor artist and teacher, some of these palettes might be less affordable to the general public. So in the description below, I have included some links to affordable options that fulfill the same purpose. Desk palettes that are ceramic, travel palettes that would be great for plein air painting, but at different price points so that you can still paint like a pro no matter what your budget is. Thank you for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.